We enjoyed her icebreaker, and here she is again. Ladies and gentlemen, Amanda.
Hello! How are you today? We're gonna have so much fun. How many of you guys talk to your friends or colleagues this way? But how many of you have seen adults talk to kids this way? More you? Okay. I've been told that kids know when you're being honest. They know when you're being real with them. And having worked with kids for about 2 months now, I can say that this is absolutely true. For those of you that don't know, I am a photography assistant for Spoiled Rotten Photography, and I work for a lady named Heather, and we travel around to different schools and we'll take pictures of kids anywhere from infant age to about 5 or 6 years old. And my job is to make sure that kid is posed, smiling, and looking at the camera, which can be really difficult sometimes. Most of you here are grown adults who probably either have your own kids or have nieces and nephews, or maybe you just interact with kids in the public sphere, but either way you've had that interaction with kids. And the most important thing I've discovered while working with kids is that there are 3 basic kinds that I've come to know. The happy, helpful kind, the defiant kind, and the shy and scared kind. And this is important in my work because my job is to get that child to smile, and gosh darn it, I'm going to get them to smile. But I have to understand how they operate in order to get there. So today I'm going to describe to you these 3 basic kinds of kids that I've come to know over the last couple months. So let's start with the happy, helpful kind. I don't mean to pick favorites, but I mean to pick favorites. This kid is my favorite. They're very easygoing. They listen to what I have to say. They're willing to pose. They're willing to smile. They're typically pretty happy while we're doing everything, which means there's a shorter photo session, which makes my life easier, and I enjoy that because we can move through the kids quickly and I can get done with my day quicker. Although they're easy, it doesn't mean I just want to blow them off and say, okay, cool, I'm just going to pose them how they have to be posed and move on. I want them to enjoy their time. So I've gotten to know that in order to make sure they're having fun and that they're enjoying the poses that they're doing, that we have to have conversations with them. We have to talk to them as if they're adults. So I ask them about their day, I talk to them about their favorite things, I ask whether or not they have pets, just to make sure they're having a good time while I'm having a good time. The next child that I've come to know is the defiant child. They're hard. You have to understand that we take these kids out of the classroom and put them into a new space, a new area, where they aren't surrounded by teachers and they aren't surrounded by parents. So they think to themselves, ooh, I'm in a new space, so I'm going to create the rules here. I don't have to listen to these strangers because I don't know them. So it makes our life a little difficult. What I've come to learn from the defiant kids is that you kind of have to surprise them. You have to understand their game and how to play it and still come out on top. So what we'll do is we'll kind of trick them. I'll pose them, and if they're wiggling around, if they're not listening to what I have to say, then I tell them, all right, if you stay perfectly still, then I'll show you a surprise. And that's when I pull out the turkey hat and try to make them laugh. If that doesn't work, sometimes pulling out the don't smile will get them to smile. The third kind of child that I've come to know is the shy or scared child. These kids are a little hard. They don't want their picture taken. They're surrounded by big, scary, flashing lights. They've got this giant camera sticking in their face and they don't know what it is. They don't want to leave their teacher and they don't want to leave their parents. So usually they'll end up crying or they'll become so stunned that they just don't know how to process what you're telling them. And what I've learned through this is that the best thing to do is to get down on their level, to talk to them in a quieter voice, and again, to have those conversations with them, to kind of take them out of, oh my goodness, everyone's looking at me, what do I do? To, hey, I just want to have a conversation with you, make sure you're having a good time, let's talk about your family, let's talk about your pets, let's talk about your favorite princess or your favorite superhero, and take the attention away from them. And if that doesn't work, usually we'll play ball. Heather and I will throw a ball around to take the attention off the child and then go back to the kid and invite them into the game. So through my work, I just want to recap, I have met 3 different types of kids. The happy, obedient child, the defiant child, and the shy or scared kid. And the most important thing I've come to know and understand is that the best thing you can do for a child is talk to them like you would any adult. Don't treat them any differently just because you think they're too young to understand or too young to recognize what you're doing with them. And although my job isn't easy, I'm learning a lot that will hopefully maybe one day come in handy outside of my work. And if you didn't know before, now you have an idea of the different kinds of kids to look out for and how to behave around them, because after all, they can tell when you're being real with them.